As the war in Gaza drags on, Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan says Singapore is prepared to recognize the state of Palestine in principle. However, he adds there needs to be an effective Palestinian government that rejects terrorism and accepts Israel's right to exist. Dr. Balakrishnan also reiterated Singapore's long-standing position for a two-state solution between both sides.
Our vote at the United Nations General Assembly means that Singapore is prepared in principle to recognize the state of Palestine. We will make this move at an appropriate time. Our key consideration is that such a move on our part should help progress towards peace and a negotiated two-state solution. In particular, there will need to be an effective Palestinian government that accepts Israel's right to exist and categorically rejects terrorism.
Regardless of political ongoings, he says Singapore will still implement its $10 million fund to help the Palestinian territories build capacity and prepare for eventual statehood. Singapore has trained more than 750 officials in areas like diplomacy, water management and urban planning. Dr. Balakrishnan says Singapore is considering another tranche of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. 3 tranches of aid were made so far, including an airdrop of at least 20 tons of aid to the stricken area in March. MPs also debated on Singapore's involvement in helping to realize a peaceful solution.
Can the minister share more on any diplomatic efforts that we are currently taking with international and regional bodies, like the UN, where a vote has been taken in favor of Palestinian memberhood, the EU, out of which 10 out of 27 states now formally recognize Palestine, and ASEAN, our closest neighbors, to facilitate the realization of the Palestinian state, a two-state solution, and to secure the legal and diplomatic rights of Palestine after this conflict is over?
I just want to emphasize again, we are not the determinative factor. This is a long-standing conflict. I honestly don't know how and when it will end. And my focus is not to add fuel to the fire, but to be quietly, discreetly, constructively helpful to the people at a humanitarian level and to build up capacity, specifically with respect to the Palestinian Authority.
MP Gerald Giam also asked if Singapore should first recognize the Palestinian state rather than wait for an effective leadership to take shape.
I think we are dealing with a catch-22 situation here. Most people will agree that an effective Palestinian government that governs the entire territory is still in the works. However, if we are waiting for a viable and effective Palestinian state to exist before recognizing it, it might never happen under current realities. Ministers said that one key principle guiding our actions is whether it can bring forward the peace process. Therefore, does the minister agree that Singapore's recognition of Palestine will help?
There are 2 different dimensions to it. One, is there an effective Palestinian leadership that speaks for all and that has the mandate to negotiate? That is a separate question from, is there a recognizable Palestinian state? And I'm saying, without locking ourselves in prematurely, which may be unhelpful, I'm saying our long-standing position is that only a negotiated two-state solution will lead to a just, durable, and comprehensive peace. And both sides must recognize the other's right to exist and must renounce terrorism. Without those prerequisites, never mind the diplomatic and legal niceties, without the recognition and respect of the other's right to exist and without renouncing terrorism, these cycles of violence will recur.